New overnight, a 4.3 magnitude earthquake shook the San Francisco Bay Area early this morning. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake hit Berkeley. People reported being jolted awake, some receiving phone alerts as their home shook.
Scientists have issued urgent warnings as Northern California enters a perilous chapter, one marked by alarming seismic events, mounting anxiety, and a risk horizon that expands with each passing hour. At this very moment, scores of tremors are rippling beneath the San Francisco Bay Area, unsettling communities from Danville to Gilroy. Through the night and into dawn, the ground quivers, vibrating with signals not felt in generations. The pulse of the Bay Area has shifted, and the unease is impossible to ignore. Fear and uncertainty mingle with resolve across the city's skyline. Residents awaken to news bulletins flashing "Emergency," to walls that tremble, windows that rattle, and streets that hint at untold forces below. This isn't a routine tectonic murmur. Deep beneath San Francisco, seismic swarms are registering changes within the region's most closely monitored fault systems. Sirens break the stillness. Highways back up as anxious commuters weigh routes and contingency plans. Scientists have rarely sounded such urgency, and the tone in their voices is unmistakable. Familiar certainties, those built on years of careful, patient observation, are dissolving under the unpredictable pressure of the Earth. The danger doesn't stop at the surface. What's unfolding is not a mere cluster of minor quakes, but a surge of seismic activity that has scientists reconsidering the patterns of the past century and a half. In research centers across the region, experts decode the tremors, searching for meaning in the chaos, watching as hidden forces reshape the delicate balance between safety and disaster. The city's infrastructure, skyscrapers, bridges, and tunnels, faces a trial none expected at this intensity. These events slowly erode the comfort of routine, exposing the frailty of what stands atop this restless land. As the bay quakes and the sky grows heavy with anticipation, a question cuts through the fear and confusion. Why now? After so many decades of uneasy rest, are seismic systems beneath San Francisco stirring so forcefully? And what does this mean for the millions living above? To answer, we explore the evolving science of earthquakes, confronting the forces reshaping California's most iconic city. What is visible on the surface, roads rippling, buildings convulsing, sirens crying, are only the first signs. Beneath the Bay Area's rolling hills and beloved bridges, deeper and more complex processes unfold, invisible to the eye. A rupture is more than a cracked street. Monitoring stations record a surge of tremors, shifting tectonic plates, and periods of ominous silence between jolts. Scientists remind us that these initial shocks could be mere preludes, a call and response throughout fault lines that have lain relatively quiet within living memory. Each pulse carries the possibility of something greater, more prolonged, and more consequential. Reports stream in from across the region. In Danville, glassware rattles from its shelves before sunrise, and pets scatter from a tremor they sense before their owners. In Gilroy, lifelong residents experience the ground shifting beneath their feet, recalling only distant stories of previous quakes. At first, some dismiss the unrest as urban noise, a heavy truck, a passing train, but the seismic data reveal a distinct pattern that links the East Bay Hills directly to San Francisco's heart. Yet what makes this moment truly remarkable is not only the frequency of the quakes, but the unusual places and mechanisms involved. Dr. Naomi Feldman, leading research at the Pacific Seismic Observatory, notes, "We have never seen swarming like this in the Bay. The subtlety, the depth, the sheer repetition, these are not normal aftershocks. This activity marks a fundamental change." Dr. Feldman's team has analyzed thousands of seismic readings, mapping a network of faults, well known and nearly forgotten, that are showing concurrent movement. Subscribe for more real-time updates and scientific insights. If you care about the safety of your community and your city, let's stay connected. Hit subscribe and join the conversation that could make a difference. As the quake swarm gains momentum, sensors beneath city streets and hills feed mounting concern. In the Sunset District, a small surface crack noticed at dawn widens throughout the day. Not just wear and tear, but a symptom. The city's emergency center receives a surge of calls from uneasy residents, weighing whether to shelter or evacuate. Earthquake kits disappear from store shelves. Gas stations see lines stretching around the block. What was, just days ago, a remote threat suddenly feels alarmingly near. But this is not simply a singular seismic event, nor a routine foreshock. What is happening beneath the Bay Area could be the precursor to a larger seismic reset, an occurrence historians remind us has redefined regions in the past. The geological record warns, when the Earth's great faults stir, consequences can be swift and far-reaching. Are these quakes simply the land releasing pent-up energy, or are they the opening movement of a crisis that will overwhelm any existing plan? Could these be the first signs of the true scale of risk that Bay Area fault systems present? The scientific response, anchored by real-time data, historical analysis, and the vigilance of experts worldwide, explains why the Bay Area's current situation truly stands out. These quakes, while moderate in magnitude, are unprecedented in number and depth, and they underline the potential for broader instability, not just along major faults like the San Andreas or Hayward, but within the entire region's tectonic network. Extraordinary figures flash across monitors, dozens of tremors in hours, recurring jolts across established and lesser-known faults, a complex interaction. Dr. Feldman concludes, a sleeping city can awaken not gradually, but with upheaval of a scale beyond past experience. If the region's fault systems are truly stirring, the repercussions may reach far beyond the surface. Within hours, it becomes apparent that this event is unlike anything catalogued in modern Bay Area history. On January's final night, seismographs record more than 24 tremors within minutes. What began as a faint shudder below the feet of early commuters crescendos by midday. Scientists, deep in their offices, watch live feeds as swarms spread from beneath Oakland's hills westward to San Francisco's core. The numbers shock even veteran seismologists. In less than 16 hours, over 70 earthquakes ripple through the crust. Some so gentle, they escape most notice. Others strong enough to jolt high-rises and century-old homes. Each shock follows quickly after the last, denying the Bay Area its usual quiet. Social media buzzes. #Bayquake, #QuakeSwarm trends hourly. Delivery workers and street vendors trade stories of nerves stretched thin. The phenomenon isn't isolated either. Along California, scientists note correlations with global seismic patterns. In January 2025, Santorini, Greece, experiences over 20,000 quakes in just a few weeks. What happens halfway across the world can inform our own vulnerabilities, explains Dr. Emilio Ortega of USGS. Fault systems are linked, not by direct contact, but by the stresses transmitted through tectonic processes worldwide. Still, what's happening in San Francisco is unique. Swarms of this frequency and scope rarely hit large urban areas atop complicated fault networks. Geological records suggest that in the remote past, such activity sometimes preceded significant changes, not only surface destruction, but a redefinition of the land's risk profile. Every rumble tells a story. Ancient rock reawakening, tectonic tension shifting, the earth hinting at future dangers. Businesses close for inspections. Bridges are examined for hair-width cracks. The ground beneath iconic neighborhoods pulses with an energy that's as unnerving as it is unfamiliar. In the relentless repetition, anxiety tightens. Are these movements a harmless release or warning signs? Deep faults under growing strain, ready to snap in a way unseen for generations. Scientists model possibilities. The Earth provides only more movement, more enigma. For a city built on the edge, how long can the balance hold? Most Bay Area residents think of earthquakes as solitary events, a few seconds of fear, a swift return to routine. But this sequence tells a different story. Monitors across the region register not just quake counts, but a complex choreography, distinct fault movements, sometimes simultaneous, sometimes sequential, all far below the surface. Here, the Earth's crust is in motion on a scale far beyond daily awareness. Dr. Ye-Ling Ma at the Northern California Earthquake Center points to a pivotal finding. Beneath the famous San Andreas and Hayward faults, lesser-known secondary faults are showing unusual activity. These swarms reveal tension moving through fault zones that often act independently, she says. When stress migrates like this, the risk becomes much less predictable. The language of science strains to express this complexity. Monitors light up with colored data, movement at various depths, angles, and rates, each signifying a different risk. This is not a single disaster, but a network activating together. The Hayward Fault, sometimes called the East Bay's ticking time bomb, is frequently cited in hazard assessments. Its last major quake, like the San Andreas's, was over a century ago. What alarms today's experts is not simply the length of dormancy, but signs of simultaneous activity across multiple faults. Each microquake recalibrates risk, upending old assumptions about timing and separation. Above ground, evidence accumulates. Roads already repaired last year crack open again. High-rises creak with unfamiliar strains. Emergency alerts go from rare tests to common practice. It's not only the size of individual tremors that matters, but the frequency and erratic rhythm, signals of a system under mounting pressure. During press briefings, Dr. Ma offers little solace. We're living through a period of seismic awakening. The question is not if, but when, where, and at what scale. As unease spreads above, the deeper story emerges. This isn't about one fault, but a network. The old model, one quake relieves a single fault, granting time before the next, no longer matches new observations. Recent findings challenge even the most basic assumptions. Dr. Rajiv Narayan at the Bay Area Seismic Institute reviews his latest data. We long believed the San Andreas and Hayward faults could rarely trigger each other, but now we see clear signs of interaction, what looks like stress transfer between different parts of the city's underground. Satellite scans detect subtle temperature shifts along fault traces, interpreted by some as frictional heating from intensifying stress. Temporary monitors to neighborhoods never before watched so closely. The city's seismic risk atlas is revised almost daily as new facts emerge. The central lesson for experts and the public alike: the intertwined nature of these faults increases the region's vulnerability in ways rare in prior generations. Building codes, often based on single-event analyses, are challenged by today's complicated reality. Simulations once considered far-fetched, with multiple faults involved in a single disaster, now gain relevance. As reports accumulate, minor injuries, scattered damage, the underlying worry grows. Will this activity simply die down, or is it the harbinger of a city-changing event that could alter not only infrastructure, but daily life itself? Scientists warn, business as usual is a thing of the past. Dr. Narayan puts it plainly: no fault is truly isolated. We are witnessing an integrated system approaching a new threshold. While headlines focus on the dramatic sway of swarms, another concerning trend emerges. The San Andreas Fault, legendary and long feared, records not only low rumblings, but shallow quakes that inch toward San Francisco. These are not the silent tremors of undisturbed plates, but active bursts threatening at the surface. At the same time, the Hayward Fault joins the fray, overlaying its own clusters atop the chaos, sometimes moving independently, and sometimes in apparent step with its larger neighbor. Seismologists use cascade event to describe scenarios where one fault's failure accelerates another's, rare but not impossible. Dr. Lena Chang, interpreting both digital and analog signals, warns, we're seeing rhythms and alignments not usually present. These faults are not acting separately, they're interacting, blurring the lines we expect. Since 1906, the Bay Area has rebuilt over ancient uncertainties. Now, almost 3 million live and work atop what appears, given current patterns, to be a synchronized network of active faults. Underground infrastructure, subways, water mains forged at the edge of historic knowledge may face levels of stress beyond what designers anticipated. As the city interprets every jolt and vibration, concern grows over the idea of a cascading rupture. one event triggering another, with uncertain consequences for the whole region. Dr. Chang, from State Emergency Response, asserts we're not just preparing for the expected, we must be ready for the unexpected. With each new tremor, San Francisco's iconic structures show subtle signs of strain. Bridges built to flex under stress now display small fissures, noise barriers shudder, and inspectors work overtime. Downtown glass towers protest with the creak and groan of their inner frameworks. Caretakers and engineers mount continuous patrols for warning signs before failure. Below ground, BART tunnels and utility corridors become focus points for engineering concern. Isolated reports of ground settling and shifts in soil moisture alarm those monitoring for weak points. Above, city workers label emerging cracks and coordinate with utilities to guard water and power supply.
Emergency planners, already coping with other urban challenges, now add urgent seismic alerts to their daily brief. The complex web of threats, earthquake, infrastructure, cascading system failures, has never felt so immediate. And yet, across the neighborhoods, resilience and anxiety rise together. Families gather for regular news reports, updating go bags and emergency plans. Schools drill drop cover hold routines with new urgency. Hospitals outline contingency plans for mass casualty and power outages, wondering if preparation keeps pace with evolving danger. Dry technical summaries record a new normal. Tremor counts exceeding previous records, ground movement rates high above average, aftershock patterns mirroring larger historic events. To the public, the warning is clear. Dr. Feldman cautions from the dais, "We face forces now better understood than ever before, but possibly more powerful than our defenses." As the swarm rolls on, the numbers tell their own uneasy story. Automatic readings pile up. Seismic networks work at peak capacity, showing not only increased quantity, but new types of tremors, shallow, distributed, and unpredictable. Overhead, satellites document tiny changes along known faults, and, more unsettlingly, shifts along lines previously deemed low risk. At the National Data Center, Dr. Soleil Armitage combs through streams of seismic noise, identifying patterns she describes as atypical, shifts outside our standard models, signaling unfamiliar forms of rock rupture. Geologists in the field analyze exposed ground, seeking microcracks and sediment shifts as early evidence of something larger below. In places like the Marina District, experts note changes in groundwater flow, suggesting that below-surface processes may be increasing lubrication along certain faults, raising the risk of faster and more unpredictable quakes. All these findings point to the same conclusion: stability is not guaranteed. Familiar assurances of safety must be questioned. Today, rapid change is outpacing decades-old models. The Earth is shifting. It's up to observation and preparation to catch up. As days stretch into weeks, speculation intensifies. Is this episode a harmless venting of tension, or does it foretell something far bigger yet to come? Do standard timelines and hazard limits still apply, or has the city slipped into a new era of risk? Dr. Feldman, presenting a map of quake clusters, speaks bluntly. It's time to move past the idea of fixed schedules. Faults don't operate by our calendar. The Bay Area's relative calm has lasted longer than some expected. This pattern, along with concurrent global events, tells us we may be nearing the end of an energetic cycle. City leaders, meanwhile, deploy teams and resources based on priority, managing urgent needs while fighting the spread of misinformation and rumor. At community meetings and online forums, questions outpace answers. Are we safe? Will there be a warning? Where can we get the facts? The reality is shared by every expert. The city stands at a threshold, transitioning from known risks to true uncertainty. The balance has shifted, not only in the physical world, but in public consciousness. Against this backdrop, vigilance and action become the new watchwords. Every earthquake plan, home preparedness measure, and workplace safety review matters more than ever before. Readiness cannot wait for tomorrow. Across town, families steady children with facts and checklists. Neighbors compare notes and share supplies. In an old city where the Earth's uncertainty is routine, the resolve to endure has persisted for generations. Inside labs and command centers, the hum of analysis does not stop. Seismologists watch traces, engineers examine structures, city officials rehearse contingencies. Each quake is studied. Every abnormality in infrastructure is cataloged and tracked. Life continues, punctuated by announcements and alerts. A city on edge, but not defeated. Even now, determination registers in the way parents calm their kids, in neighbors supporting each other, in community leaders demanding transparency and action. At the end of each day, as darkness settles, San Francisco pauses. Some residents pace, sensitive to every tremor and distant siren. Others sit with family or gather online, reviewing maps and safety plans, waiting together for signs of calm or warning. Scientists reflect over their monitors. Dr. Ma muses, "This chapter isn't finished, but preparation, vigilance, and learning, these may yet shape what happens next." The city has always lived on the edge of land, of water, of risk, and of innovation. As awareness grows and the hazards mount, the spirit of San Francisco remains, resolute, adaptable, hopeful. Every moment of attention, every act of preparation, tips the scale toward safety. The future is unwritten, but as long as the ground stirs and minds stay alert, the city will face whatever comes.
Stay informed. Subscribe to receive the latest updates, expert insights, and real-time alerts about California's seismic awakening. Share your questions and experiences in the comments, and watch our next video for practical safety steps you can take. Together, we watch, we plan, and we endure. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and remember, even as the Earth shifts beneath us, every choice you make can bring your family and your city closer to safety.